You're watching WGAL 8. Now, coverage you can count on continues. This is News 8 at 11 in HD.
Tonight, all eyes are on Coach Joe Paterno and his future at Penn State.
Students and fans gathered tonight outside his home in support of the longtime coach.
And as the night wore on, many of them regrouped outside Old Main, where the Board of Trustees held an emergency meeting.
Coach Joe Paterno's future may be in doubt in the wake of the sex abuse scandal at Penn State. It's our top story in the first 11 at 11. Good evening, everyone. I'm Ron Martin.
I'm Janelle Stelzen. This is also Election Day. We're going to have the results shortly and are now showing the vote count at the bottom of your screen.
But we begin with the latest on the Penn State sex abuse scandal and whether coaching legend Joe Paterno will lose his job. It follows child sexual abuse allegations against former coach Jerry Sandusky.
Our live team coverage continues with News 8's Pat Principe and Mike Straub in State College. We begin with Pat from Beaver Stadium.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can hear, but going on behind us right now at Paternoville, which is kind of a little tent village here outside the stadium, there are people chanting and chanting for Joe Paterno here tonight. And that's kind of been the story of the day today, the outpouring of support for Paterno. And it's been kind of a day unlike any other. It started with Joe having the plug pulled on his news conference today by head President Graham Spanier. It morphed into rumors that Joe was going to be let go maybe as early as today, and it ended up with an outpouring of support at both Joe Paterno's house and at Old Main. And this was the scene on the front steps of Old Main. Dozens of students gathered on hand to show how much they love the Lion King. Meanwhile, inside, a special meeting of the Board of Trustees at Penn State being conducted, and what they determined tonight is that they are outraged of the actions of the criminal abuse charges leveled against Jerry Sandusky, and they're going to form a special committee now on Friday to study just who is responsible and what persons should be maybe possibly let go. No actions taken tonight. Joe Paterno, of course, greeted by fans at his house tonight as he returned from practice, and that's where his son, Scott Paterno, told us Joe Paterno is still the head coach.
Nothing's changed.
Does he have plans to talk before?
Not tonight.
Before Saturday?
Oh, yeah. Listen, guys, right now, he and my mom will eat dinner. As you can probably imagine, it's been a long day, and this is wonderful support. But really, let's keep our eye on what's really important here, and I'd really love to.
You've been more than accommodating.
No offense, I'd love to push you guys back out of the garage.
Thank you, Scott. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Back out of the garage we went, and of course outside the students continued to chant Jopa's name, and the head coach was really visibly moved and actually had a tear in his eye when he was talking to the students. And I guess that is the ultimate story tonight, Mike, right? What's happening on campus with these kids.
The campus very much alive, a real energy kind of pumping through everybody. You can hear it from Paternoville right now. I don't think anybody's going to sleep there tonight, and they're not kind of for or against anybody. They kind of are all just supporting each other. You see the campus kind of leaning on each other and really, as you've been saying, supporting one man in particular. Joe Paterno outside his house this evening, thanking the crowd for their support. And they are out in force. Hundreds of students coming and going throughout the night, stopping by the house, pledging their allegiance to Paterno. Back on campus, the students rallying in front of Old Main and on the quad in front of the building. Most of the people in attendance calling for President Graham Spanier to step down. They wanted to see it happen tonight. And once again, hoping their beloved coach can possibly be spared.
Our campus is about supporting this man, and that is why we are here tonight. We're here to support Joe Paterno.
Joe's like our dad, as far as we're all concerned. I mean, he's Joe. I mean, if Joe's gone, it's like we lost a dad. So we have to respect him in the best way possible.
And Joe was happy to greet them. Also, Sue was outside the house tonight waving and thanking people. She came to the window a couple of different times and just waved and thanked people for stopping by. And the people we talked to, just an interesting mood. You'd say, what do you want to see happen? Some people said we want Spanier to step down. We want to see some actions. Most of them said, I just got to see what happens. This is my campus. This is part of who I am. People are so proud of this. Generations are so proud of this place. They just wanted to see what's going to happen. I think they're at least happy to hear something from the Board of Trustees tonight.
And let us reiterate that despite all the rumors earlier today that Joe Paterno was going to be forced out as early as tonight, he is still the head coach. A special committee will be formed on Friday to further look into this matter. It appears Joe Paterno is going to remain as Penn State football coach, I would have to guess, through the end of this season. All right, we're going to have more coming up later in sports. We'll take a look back on what has been an incredible day here in Happy Valley. For now, we're live outside Paternoville and Beaver Stadium here, guys, and what has been just an incredible day and evening.
Thank you, Pat. We'll see you later.
Well, plenty of Penn State fans in the Susquehanna Valley have an opinion about what's going on in Happy Valley.
News 8's Pete Muntean is live in Lancaster with that story. Pete.
Janelle and Ron, emotions are strong here at the Brickyard in Lancaster about whether or not head coach Joe Paterno should step down. Tonight we talked to Penn State fans who say they need more information regarding Paterno's involvement when reporting Jerry Sandusky's alleged sexual abuse. Most here think that he went high enough up the chain of university leadership.
Right now, I think he should stay. For the most part, it doesn't involve him. I think he did the right thing.
But I don't think Joe Pa's at fault, though. I think he did what he needed to do. I don't think he should have to retire. I mean, it's definitely Sandusky's at fault, but I mean, Joe Pa, he reported it and did what he needed to do.
If he steps down, to me, he's guilty. If he doesn't step down, then he shouldn't be guilty, That's the way I look at it.
Most of the fans we talked to say they will hold out for an explanation directly from Joe Pa, but most agree that this is not the way college football's most winningest coach should step down. Janelle and Ron.
Some strong opinions there. All right. Thank you, Pete.
Also late tonight, a report from the Center Daily Times, the newspaper, that a judge has barred Jerry Sandusky from being alone with 3 of his grandchildren. Also, Sandusky's preliminary hearing, originally scheduled for tomorrow, has been postponed until December.
As the story at Penn State continues to unfold, News 8 is the place to turn on air and online for the latest developments. Right now on WGAL.com, you can see the raw video that was taken by the News 8 crews in State College, including the scene showing Paterno supporters outside of Joe Pa's home. Also online, you can read the grand jury's report on the allegations against Jerry Sandusky.
Doug Allen, we're going to have election results in just a minute. There was no excuse not to get out and vote today.
Gorgeous day. Temperatures this afternoon, 3 o'clock. Look at these numbers. Indian summer in a big way. Everybody right around 70 degrees. Now we're chilling out. York's down to 39, Selinsgrove 36. 40s for the heart of the Susquehanna Valley right now with some patchy fog starting to form and moonlit skies out there tonight. Overnight tonight will be a chilly one, around 40. Outlying areas will be in the 30s once again. A little morning fog to burn off, then 50s and climbing up to about 62. Clouds will start to build in. Going to get a little soggy Thursday, a little cooler and blustery for Friday. But how long do we stay there? We'll check it out coming up with a complete forecast.
All right, thank you, Doug. Now, News 8's Commitment 2011 election night coverage of races across the Susquehanna Valley. It was a light turnout at the polls for this off-year election. Voters were casting ballots for school boards, directors, township officials, county commissioners, and state and local judgeships. We begin with Harrisburg City Council, where 6 candidates were running.
Council has been a primary player as the city moves toward a state takeover to deal with its financial crisis. Today, voters cast ballots for 3 candidates.
Incumbents Brad Kaplinski and Susan Wilson were up for re-election, and they're among the top 3 winners. Here are the results. With all the vote counted now, it's Kaplinski and Brown Wilson leading the way, followed by Sandra Reed.
News 8's Jim Sinkovitz is following the race live from Harrisburg. And Jim, it looks like voters are okay with more of the same.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way right now here at Democratic headquarters at the ASME building in Swatter Township. Harrisburg City Council, as you said, will remain completely Democratic. Brad Kaplinski, Susan Brown Wilson, the top vote getter, soundly reelected. The new person on City Council, not replacing, but in place of outgoing Council President Gloria Martin Roberts will be with us tonight. She is the new member, Sandra Reed. She's a fiscal examiner for the State Treasury Department. Brad Kaplinski said the re-election of he and Susan Brown Wilson said the voters believe they are on the right track in solving the city's financial crisis.
They're listening to all the options that are out there. And so I respect them for the choice that they made. I think that all the leaders that are watching, not just locally, but statewide, should respect that.
And Sandra Reed joins us right now. She's the newest member elected tonight to Harrisburg City Council. What are you going to bring to City Council?
Well, I'm going to bring is an independent thought as far as the finances to Harrisburg City Council. We have 3 members on council that are one way, 4 members on council that's going in another direction. I want to bring the fiscal responsibility that the city needs.
Did you support bankruptcy?
I support the direction that needs to bring everybody to the table, and unfortunately, that's the only direction that we have. That's the only tool that we have that's going to make everybody come to the table.
All right, Sandra Reed, congratulations on your election tonight. You'll be sworn in January along with the others. That is the story right now. Reporting live in Swanhour Township, Jim Sinkovitz, back to you.
All right, thank you, Jim.
Now to Lancaster City Council, where 3 seats are open with no incumbents running for re-election. 7 people were in the race.
And the 3 winners are, with all the votes counted, Democrat Barbara Wilson, also Democrats John Grapera and James Reichenbach.
To York City, where 4 people ran for 3 seats on council. Carol Hill Evans and Tony Smith are the incumbents in the race. And the top 3 are, with all the votes counted, Carol Hill Evans, followed by newcomer Joanne Borders, and Tony Smith, all Democrats, and point out that there were 1,090 write-in votes tonight. So that 992 may or may not carry for Smith, so this race still may not be over for that 3rd spot.
All right, Ron, to Lebanon City Council now. 4 candidates running for 3 seats, Republican Tannen Miller and the 3 incumbents. And it looks like the incumbents will retain their seats. All the votes counted. It's Richard Wirtz, Patrice Royer, and Wiley Parker.
To Carlisle Borough Council now, where 6 people ran for 4 seats. Donald Grell is seeking re-election. And here are the top 4. Dawn Flower, Donald Grell, the incumbent, Matthew Madden, and Robin Guido.
We'll have more election results later in this newscast.
But there are some other stories making news today that we want to tell you about.
Topping Susquehanna Valley news, York police are calling the death of a 2-year-old boy suspicious. It is not clear where Jacques Twin lived, but neighbors found the boy on a porch on West Boundary Avenue Monday afternoon, and he was not breathing. He was pronounced dead at York Hospital. Neighbors say they occasionally saw the little boy and his baby sister with a man who lives on the street.
A jury in Dauphin County Court deliberated for 5 days and today found former Republican State Representative Brett Feast guilty of using taxpayer money on GOP political campaigns. Also convicted in the case was Feast's former aide, Jill Seaman. 7 other Republican defendants pleaded guilty in the case, including former House Speaker John Purcell.
Politics on the national level. A defiant Herman Cain declared today he will not drop his bid for the Republican presidential nomination after allegations of inappropriate sexual behavior. Cain says it, quote, ain't gonna happen. He also says he will be willing to take a lie detector test, but Cain says he does not even know the woman who accused him of reaching under her skirt when she says she met with him in Washington about a job.
Tonight we continue our series of reports on the leading causes of death. Stroke is the 4th leading cause of death.
8 on your side, medical reporter Susan Shapiro says there are things you can do to prevent a stroke, but you also need to know the signs of a stroke.
Every 6 seconds, someone in the world dies of a stroke. Stroke is the 4th leading killer in this country, with about 137,000 deaths a year. A stroke, also known as a brain attack, happens when a clot blocks the blood supply to the brain or when a blood vessel in the brain bursts. It's important to recognize the symptoms to know if someone is having a stroke. Ask the person to lift both arms. If one drags down, there may be a sign there's a weakness. Call 911. Ask them to repeat a sentence. If they can't or have slurred speech, call 911. And ask them to smile. If it's lopsided, there may be a sign of facial weakness. Call 911. Neurologist Mamta Verma says don't wait to take action if you think someone is having a stroke.
The earlier they get to the emergency room, earlier they get medical attention, the better it is.
The CDC recommends what it refers to as the ABCs to reduce your threat of stroke. A is for aspirin for people at risk. B for your blood pressure control. C, cholesterol management. And finally, S, smoking cessation. You can also add in weight control and blood sugar control for diabetics.
If they are well under control, they can prevent stroke.
And for more information on the leading causes of death, you can go to our website, WGAL.com.
Tomorrow, Susan moves to the 3rd leading cause of death. This one affects your breathing.
Well, that is News 8's First 11 at 11. We'll be right back with more election coverage.
Plus, you can watch the returns as they come in across the bottom of your screen.
And here are tonight's lottery numbers. The daily, 459.
Big 4, 0869.
Cash 5, 17, 19, 22, 26, 35.
And tonight's Quinto numbers, 40682.